Are you struggling to grow your YouTube channel? You post after post and you just hear crickets? As a YouTube coach and channel manager, I am in new YouTube channels on the daily, and let me tell you, I have seen what works to scale a channel in 2024. So today I'm gonna share with you the 10 steps that I would take if I were starting a YouTube channel from zero. This is gonna take you step by step and how to scale a YouTube channel that can lead to profits and a life of more freedom and flexibility. Are you ready? Let's dive in. What's up, it's Danie, your guide to authentic video. If you haven't yet, make sure you download my free Starting on YouTube cheat sheet. Now, the first thing that I would do if I were starting a YouTube channel from scratch is I would follow my YouTube famous formula, YFF, in order to become known for something specific. Now, you probably most know me well for YouTube tips on my channel, but you may also know that I do post other types of content like travel vlogs as a digital nomad or even some faith-based content. I think that you can post other things on your channel besides just one main topic, but you gotta be known for one main topic to start with. We are humans, we like to categorize things, and people are gonna wanna categorize you and your channel when you first get started. For example, I have a client who has a channel for pastors and gives advice to other pastors, but he also loves camping, and he said, should I start two channels on these two very different topics? And I said, no. Do you know how much commitment it takes just to build and scale one channel? To try and do two, you're setting yourself up for failure. Start with one and pick the most profitable niche, the one you really want to build your business and foundations on. So that would be for pastors. And then on the side, you can still post those camping and gear reviews in the same channel, knowing that our audience is often interested in our side passions as well. You can be multifaceted, but you have to be strategic about it and really niche hard into one area in the beginning and sprinkle in a little bit of the other interests here and there if that's something you really want to do. It is interesting to note that I do hear now some people say you don't need to niche anymore, but everyone who says that very much has a niche that they're well known for. So take that with a grain of salt and know you gotta pick one topic to start with and you can sprinkle in something else on the side. And so let's move to my YouTube famous formula. Okay, now here you can see you have your channel. Now 80% of your content, you really want to be about a main topic. This is what you're gonna be most well known for. Think of like Airbnb. They're known for you staying in somebody's home and you book that stay, but now they also offer the Airbnb experience which is more like tours and whatnot. That's like 20% of their content, but they're known mainly for one thing, and they started off with most of their branding and everything being on that one main thing to build that audience awareness. Same for you. Even look at you being in this video right now. You probably know me for YouTube tips. Of course, I create some other types of content that I organize very beautifully, so it's easy to follow along on my travel vlogs or even course reviews. That's okay to create other types of content, but you need to make sure you're known for something in the beginning. So that's gonna be 80% of your content in the beginning. You're gonna have one main niche, and you're gonna decide who you help, the problem that you solve, and how you are unique. And I'll show you an example of that over here in just a second. And from this section, you'll create two types of content, which I'll get into in just a little bit here. Now on the other side, you will have your other types of content based on maybe a couple passions that you really want to share about. And if you don't have that other 20% of content, great. Have 100% of your content here. That's ideal. But I have so many people who come to me and they're like, but I want to talk about this, this, and this. Me too. That's why I talk about other things on my channel as well. But I still follow this formula so my channel is very profitable. So let's look and see what this could look like for an actual channel. I made up this channel. This is Erin Marie. It's Going Eco with Erin. And so with Erin, 80% of her content is helping people go eco on a budget. That's the niche. And who does she help? Well, she helps millennials wanting to go eco. And the problem she solves is people are so overwhelmed with how to be eco-friendly with info. And so she says, I simplify things and have easy DIYs. Another problem she solves is people don't have money to go eco. And so she shows how it can be affordable. And then how is this channel unique? Well, she has science research, all of her things, because she's a science nerd. She's very practical. She incorporates sarcastic humor that her friends all find amusing, and she loves to be thrifty. And so she'll give people the lowest cost with the highest eco-friendly output. And so this is super easy, and I'm just deciding right now that I'm gonna give you this template so you can fill this in on your own. And so I'm gonna provide you with this template. Either you can find it in the cards or in the description box. I'm gonna create this before we post the video because I think that would be so helpful. So I'm gonna give that to you, I just decided. Then, based off of that, she's gonna create two types of content, frequently asked questions, and then some trending, which again, I'll get into in a little bit. She has other things she wants to talk about as well. So 20% of her kind of more random about her content that she wants to do for fun is going to be going thrifting with her and also just organization vlogs. But her main thing she's going to be known for is helping millennials go eco in their homes on a budget. And so once you fill out this formula, you have a great foundation for setting up a profitable channel. A huge mistake that I see new YouTubers make is that they just talk about everything, and this will almost never allow you to be profitable and to scale. The next thing I would do if I were starting my YouTube channel from scratch is I would set it up and optimize it, but only with the essentials. I would not spend a lot of time on this section, and I find that a lot of new YouTubers spend way too much time trying to make things look perfect. It doesn't really matter, just do the essentials, and I'll show you which ones right now. So you're first gonna start by adding some keywords to your channel. These can be just broad search terms that relate to the type of content that you create. In order to do this, you're going to go into your YouTube Studio by clicking on the right-hand side and hitting YouTube Studio. Then you will hit settings down on the bottom left, and then you will see where you have this button that says channel. And in basic info, this is where you can add up to 500 characters of keywords, again, that relate to what your channel is going to be about. These can be broad, add that in. The next thing you need to do is add basic info to your channel. You're going to go back into your YouTube Studio, and you are going to go to customization. You can also get there if you are in your channel. You can just hit this button right here that hits customize channel, and that's also going to take you to your YouTube Studio. Once we're in channel customization, you're going to click here on basic info. You're going to obviously choose your channel's name, whatever your brand name is. I recommend using your name or nickname because we're building stock if you're building a personal brand in ourselves. Choose a handle. This isn't quite as important as the channel name. That's most important. And then you add a description. Now it's really important that this first sentence gets people to click if you have any sort of an opt-in or a website. And so you can have a short sentence. If it's too long, it will cut off. I'd recommend to try and keep this sentence maybe around like 50 to 60 characters so it doesn't cut off. You can see here I have scale with Danie. Click below and let's work together. And what that looks like when you're on my channel is you see, boom, it's right here. And then I have that link below, which I'll show you how to add here in a second. Then when people click in, this is where you can add a little bit more about yourself and your brand if you want. Have you ever actually done that for somebody's info though? Probably not. So again, don't spend too much time on this. Like just write that sentence and get on with it and don't worry about it. Creating your videos is way more important. Now you're gonna scroll down and you're going to see that you can add links. I recommend to just use one link and use a link tree that links to everything. If you have two links, it's going to look like this and show the main link and one more link with that text, or it'll say and two more links. So I always generally just have my link tree. That way when people click on it, they can see all the things that I want to send them to instead of having a bunch of links linked out where you can see here, you can add a bunch of different ones, but I really see even here, I have Instagram just to show you as an example of what it would look like, but generally I just have one, and that way I just think it looks a lot more crisp, and plus who's gonna click on another link? I don't know, I never do that stuff, so I only do what's easiest. I'm gonna click on this first link and that's it. See how it looks nicer with just that one link? That's just my personal preference. Add more if you would like to. Now you need to go in and add branding. So you're still in customization in YouTube Studio, but you're going to hit this branding button. You're going to add a profile picture, one that's of your face. I wish that mine was more of my face, but I picked this one a long time ago and people recognize it, so I cannot turn back now. Also, put in a YouTube banner. Now, I highly recommend that you watch my YouTube banner video because it comes with a template, and that template is gonna make it so much easier to understand how the formatting is gonna be perfect on a desktop and a phone. So go watch that video and get that free template and create that. Again, don't spend too much time on it, but make sure that your branding stays consistent. A very common mistake that I see new YouTubers make is that they use loads of different fonts and loads of different colors because they don't have one main brand scheme. Pick a font, pick a couple colors that you like, use coolers.com if you don't have brand colors, and stick with that and keep things simple. If you're not good at branding, minimalist and crisp you can keep things, the more high value it will still look even if you don't really know what you're doing when it comes to branding. Now, if you want to go more in depth on how to set up a channel homepage, then you can check out this video where I go super deep into setting up a really solid homepage. Now, the next step I would take in setting up my YouTube channel is picking out equipment. Now, if I didn't have a lot of money to invest and I had a decent iPhone, solid. I'm good to go. All you really need is a camera and a microphone. So do not invest loads on equipment. Set your iPhone or Samsung or whatever phone you have to film at 1080p at 60 frames per second, and it's gonna look great. And you might be like, Danie, should I shoot in 4K? I do not think that you need to. Honestly, shooting in 4K, I don't even do that. And it just makes your file size so much bigger and so much more of a pain when you go to edit. So I don't recommend doing that. I vote no. Now, if you're like, I wanna upgrade and I don't wanna use a phone to film, then I recommend using the Sony ZV-1, or I think there's even a newer version of it. That's what I'm using to film right now. And I have a video on all my equipment that you can check out. Highly recommend to watch that video where I take you behind the scenes of all the cameras that I have. But I am using the Sony ZV-1 and a Rode mic. But if I were to do things again, I would still get the Sony ZV-1, but I would probably get the Rode Wireless Go 2 mic, and I'll link that one down below. It's just wireless, so like I could have the mic attached to me, and I think it's a little bit better than the one I currently have, but I still like the setup I have, and the microphone I have is like $100 cheaper than the Rode Wireless Go 2. Also, if you really like to vlog, I totally recommend that you use the DJI Pocket 2. They just came out with the Pocket 3, so you could probably get the Pocket 2 for even more of a discount. It's incredible. If you watch any of my Bali vlog, that video is almost entirely shot, mic and camera and all, with the DJI Pocket 2, and I think it sounds and looks incredible. So you can let me know if you think that too. Now, when it comes to editing software, I recommend to either use iMovie if you have a Mac, or Filmora if you have a PC or a Mac. Filmora really seems to be the best overall because it has so many features. It allows you to edit really high quality videos, but it's very user and beginner friendly. So that's what I would recommend for you. I started off using iMovie and then moved to Final Cut Pro, which is like Mac's version of Adobe Premiere Pro. Now I don't edit my YouTube videos. My wonderful editor does, and she uses Adobe Premiere Pro. If you're a beginner to editing, don't recommend going into Adobe Premiere Pro, but Adobe Premiere Pro probably is like top of the line, Final Cut Pro, but Filmora would recommend that first. Also, pro tip, if you're wanting to add B-roll into your videos, I recommend either just using Canva Pro's videos or Pexels that has copyright-free video that you can use. The fourth thing that I would do if I were starting my channel from scratch is I would choose video topics that get views. Let's go back into Canva. You can see here that I have the different types of content that I would create. I would create 70% of content that's frequently asked questions and how-tos, and then 30% of the content I would do trending. So how do you find what are the frequently asked questions in your niche, or what are the how-tos that people want to know? When you can understand this, you can scale your channel so much faster and also make money on your channel very quickly. People think the money is in subscribers. The money is really if you can show up and search for what your ideal audience is searching for and teach them something, and then they want to learn more, they're going to want to hire you because you've gained that trust with them. So that's why this 70% of content being that frequently asked question, how to really searchable, is so key. So the first place that you could start would be Answer the Public. Now, what I could do, if you've never seen Answer the Public, it's amazing. It actually will show you, it's called a search listening tool for market, customer, and content research. And it shows you what people are most commonly searching for in Google. With Answer the Public, you get 3 free searches a day. So choose them wisely. So let's say that I was doing research for my own channel. I could put in YouTube. Now the search results are in. You see there are 150 questions that it's showing me that people are asking most commonly about YouTube. So I could see people are very interested in how YouTube pays. So knowing I could make videos answering questions about how much YouTube pays creators or per view, and I could get some good ideas just from right here. And I could also go to comparisons, maybe comparing YouTube and TikTok. I could look at related searches as well. So this is a really helpful tool. I also would use Google. So what I like to do is I'll search in a term into Google and hit like YouTube tips. And I also will make sure and see what things pop up here that people are also searching. This is going to be helpful. What does YouTube recommend? Those are also things that people are often or most often searching for. And then I would look and see what are people also asking. Well, maybe I should make a video on how much YouTube pays for 1,000 views. I can take one of my videos if I have one for 1,000 views and talk about that. That could be a great topic. I could also just look and see what are the top blogs and search titles have in common. And then you can see here on my right hand of my screen, people also search for. I have a plugin called Keywords Everywhere that I pay like $10 or $20 a year for. It's not that expensive, and it gives me loads more ideas of what people are interested in. Now, boom, I've got loads of topic ideas that are searchable. Lastly, to do this, I usually use the plugin TubeBuddy, and I'll use TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer tool. So I will go to their Keyword Explorer, and I can type in something like, let's say, YouTube tips, and hit explore, and it's going to show me how good of a chance it thinks I have in ranking in this, and it'll give this search term a score, and you'll be able to see some title ideas of related searches and also some of the top channels with this title, and I can compare so I can get an idea of some video topics. Now, the next 30% of my content, I would do trending titles. Now, how do you know what titles are trending? Well, let me tell you this, it takes being on YouTube and checking out what's working for competitors or people in different niches and adapting things that are working for others for yourself in your own unique way. So for example, I had a client who had less than 1,000 subscribers, and she did Pilates, and she realized that in her niche, people were starting to be more interested in wall Pilates. And so she created a wall Pilates challenge, and she went from 1,000 or under 1,000 subscribers to over 100,000 in just a few months because she found something that was really trending that people wanted to learn about that there wasn't a lot of content on. So if you can find trends that are kind of up and coming, hop on those. It's going to be really helpful. But also, if that doesn't relate to you, you're like, well, what other trends could I think of? There are just certain titles that often trend. Like for me, I saw in another niche, there was a title that was like 10 hacks you didn't know existed, but it was about a different niche. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll do mine on 10 YouTube Shorts hacks that you didn't know existed. And that video blew up. And because of it, other creators in my niche made a video with that same title because they saw that it was trending, and they obviously had probably different content in it. And you always want to make sure you don't watch those videos and you make your own content for a title that's trending, that you make your own. But can be really helpful in scaling your channel. So like, let's even look up like 10 YouTube Shorts hacks you didn't know existed. If I look this up in TubeBuddy, or let's just look it up on, you can see here, my video shows up, but then Millie did one a few months later. Robert Benjamin did one of the 7 YouTube Shorts hacks you didn't know existed. Think Media did one, 10 YouTube Short hacks. So trends can be really powerful, and we see creators using them all the time. Some other trending title ideas that just seem to always work off the top of my head are A Day in the Life of, I Quit, 10 Things I Wish I Knew Before, 10 Things I Hate About. People love the number 10 for some reason. The Hard Truth About Blank. These are just some ideas, but you can find these by being on YouTube, looking at your competitors, seeing topics that are working. Now, going along with this, the 5th thing I would do if I were starting my YouTube channel from scratch is I would deep dive and do loads of competitor research on the top people in my niche and in other niches, and I would study their hooks, their titles, and their thumbnails. And I would see what are the commonalities, and I would take what's working and I would apply it to my own channel in my own way. Look at top creators and see, why is the intro of their video so captivating? That first 30 seconds of your video is the most important. People need to listen to it and lean in and say, yes, this video is exactly what I need. It solves my problem. You need to have a value proposition where you say, here's why you should care about and watch this video and how it's going to help you solve a problem or make your life better in some way and what it will offer you. Spend time analyzing good hooks and then writing hooks for your own videos. Next, what do the top titles have in common? I really like to do 2 things. So what I will usually do when I go into a channel, like let's say that I go to Modern Millie. So if I go to her channel, I can click on it. I like to go to videos, and then I will hit popular. And then I will see, what do the top titles have in common? Something interesting for her is all of her like top 6 video titles are fully capitalized. Interesting. I can look and see, what else do they have in common? 10 Instagram hacks you didn't know existed. See, that's a trending one right there again. But anyway, looking at the top videos and seeing what they have in common can be very helpful. You can also do this, not specifically with just one creator, but by using TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer tool. I could look up a topic like YouTube tips for beginners, and I could go in and I could see, okay, looking at the results, what do the top 20 videos have in common? And what do their titles have in common? Why are they strong? And again, analyze these things and bring them into my own video titles. Lastly, when you're creating a video, look at the top thumbnails also in that topic. What do they have in common? If you do not know how to create a strong thumbnail, thumbnails are key to getting views for your videos, and I highly recommend that you check out my training on how to create a thumbnail. I will link it here. Again, even looking with keywords everywhere, I can see what do these thumbnails all have in common? Well, they all show the YouTube logo. They all have a face on it. A lot of them are very excited, and you can see a lot of these creators, they have their plaque to show like, hey, I'm credible. Others have something holding up where you're gonna get their strategy. And so I could take all of these and make notes and say, okay, I could incorporate elements of these things that are working into my own thumbnail to ensure that I have a higher click-through rate. The sixth thing I would do if I were creating a YouTube video from scratch is I would figure out how many videos I could post a month while still being consistent. I would generally say the sweet spot is like 1 video a week. 4 videos a month is ideal. If you can do that, you can really scale your channel quite nicely. I have found with my clients who try and do more than that burnout is very real. It's very difficult if you don't have a team behind you to post more than 1 YouTube video a week. If you're like, I cannot do 1 a week, even 1 every other week or like 2 a month is great. What matters most is that you stay consistent to be able to iterate, make changes, get better, and scale. Going along with that, the 7th thing that I would do is I would totally forget about shorts. As a YouTube manager and coach, I see behind the scenes of channels every single day, and YouTube shorts just do not move the needle for most personal brands and business YouTube channels. They just don't help. They get views, but do they convert to sales and subscribers? Generally, we find not. If you are an entertainer on YouTube, then yes, you'll probably find it'll help you scale your channel. If you are more personal brand based, I wouldn't waste time on shorts. I would solely focus on YouTube videos. 8th thing I would do if I were starting my YouTube channel from scratch is I would throw out perfectionism and I would post one first very bad YouTube video and I just get over it and know that your first video is just a stepping stone to your next, and it's gonna be not your best. It's gonna be actually your worst. And so I would set a date 1 month from today where you're like, I'm just gonna do it. I have to post it. I've got to get it done. And you start bad and you start scared, knowing that the more videos you put out, the more likely your channel is to be successful. I really tell my clients, like, wait and post 50 videos before you overanalyze if you're doing good or bad, because you're gonna continually be getting better, but if you're so caught up on each and every video, you're never gonna scale. Mr. Beast even says, like, you shouldn't even care about anything until you post your 100 first videos. And I really think he says that more to creators to be like, just start creating. That's the most important thing. The 9th thing that I would do if I were starting from scratch is I would double down on what's working. So as you start putting out content and you start putting out that like 70% how-tos and frequently asked questions and that 30% trending and maybe some videos that are just more your passion videos, that sounds kind of weird. Whatever. You will find that some videos are going to do better than others. The ones that do better, analyze them and see, okay, what topic was this about, and double down on it. Especially if you have a video really take off, make another one that's similar, very helpful. I'll never forget when my YouTube Shorts tips videos really took off, I started making more YouTube Shorts videos, and those also did really well because the YouTube algorithm saw, oh, people like her YouTube Shorts videos. These other new ones, we think people will also probably like them, and they pushed it out more. And that is a part of the way that you can gain dominance in the YouTube search engine. Now, the 10th thing that I would do if I were starting my YouTube channel from scratch is I would download my starting on YouTube cheat sheet. If you haven't yet, that's gonna be a super helpful place to also start. And also be sure to check out the description where I've got linked all the other videos that I've referenced that go more into depth into certain how-tos in order for you to help start your channel. But you have got this. The biggest point really is that you just start with that first bad video and you continue on from there. Consistency is really the key to scaling on YouTube and getting a little bit better every single time. You can do this. I'm so stoked for you. Be sure to subscribe and I will see you next video. Bye. Also, goodbye to this setup because I'm moving, because I'm getting married. So also say goodbye in the comments if you made it this far to my room. Peace and blessings.